Hello, and warm welcomes to those who signed up for the Community Health Ambassador Registration Program run by Hong Kong's Quality Assurance Agency. Today's program will be divided into two parts. The first, a brief introduction on the program itself, while the second will look deeper into the importance of community health, personal hygiene, as well as our mission as health ambassadors. Over the past few months, Hong Kong has had to face the coronavirus pandemic. We've seen that during this time, Hong Kong has relied on the understanding of businesses to reevaluate and change the hygiene standards of the workplace. The ultimate mission is to protect and ensure the safety of all employees. So we hope that with this program, we can bring more awareness of the situation to the public. In these troubling times affecting everyone, we hope people support and encourage good personal hygiene. This program uses digital services to provide the most direct and straightforward method of bringing awareness to the situation and encourages participation. In this program, we hope that everyone can join and promote this personal hygiene message. Here are the Health Ambassador's 5 mission statements. The first, together we can promote a healthy community. The second is to be aware of personal hygiene. The third is to spread the importance of personal and public hygiene. The fourth is to stay active and healthy through exercise and activity. And the last is to share our concern and care with the rest of our community. Firstly, promoting a healthy community. Our mission as health ambassadors is to encourage the pursuit of a healthy society. While this may not be easy, we have prepared and planned ways to achieve small goals that will lead us to a safer and more hygienic way of life. Through creating routines of good hygiene habits, we will eventually be able to maintain a high standard of personal and public hygiene. We know that by implementing small actions, like the ones on the screen, we can achieve our overall goal. Our second mission is to be aware of personal and public hygiene. With this, we're happy to share with you a short video provided by the Humanza Rehabilitation and Wellness Enhanced Service about the pandemic and how it affects public health. This video is about controlling and ensuring public health and safety. The first step would be understanding this new respiratory virus named COVID-19. This virus, which started in Wuhan, China, was assumed to have begun infecting around December of last year and is transmitted through water droplets from those infected into the healthy immune systems through the nose and mouth and into the lungs. Experts have said that symptoms take 1 to 14 days to become noticeable, with the most common occurrence around the 5th. Symptoms include fever, fatigue, dry cough, and difficulties breathing, while some symptoms will be more serious than others. Since we do not yet have a vaccine, we need to take care of our personal hygiene. When traveling, do not come into contact or eat any of the wild animals, as well as avoid crowded areas. If traveling within high-risk countries, follow the government's instructions, and if you return with a fever or other symptoms, you should wear a mask immediately and see a doctor, telling them what countries you've visited recently. It helps to know how the virus transmits. Through speaking, coughing, sneezing, and spitting, an infected person can transmit the virus to others. If the fluid touches another's eyes or gets breathed in through the nose or mouth, the risk of becoming infected is dangerously high. However, the virus is unable to spread through the air and only can reach a distance of 1 meter or less. As citizens, we have a responsibility to limit the spread of this deadly virus. How can we do this? Step 1. Maintain good hygiene. Before touching your face, remember to thoroughly wash your hands. When sneezing or coughing, use a tissue to cover your mouth and nose and dispose of it in a lidded rubbish bin before washing your hands again. We also have to be aware of personal health. If signs of symptoms occur, such as a fever or a dry cough, it is our responsibility to work from home, avoid crowded areas, and seek medical assistance as soon as possible. When washing hands, it's imperative to wash thoroughly at obvious signs of dirt or contamination. When there are no obvious signs, you can use hand sanitizers with a 60 to 75% alcohol content, as this kills the spread of germs. When using these, it's advised to check their expiry date. Now, I'm sure everyone knows how to wash their hands, but in case you needed some guidance, on the screen is a 7-step procedure on how to thoroughly wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds. When using sanitizer, it's also advised to use the same procedure. When you have a high temperature, you must assume you have a fever and go to the doctors immediately. If measuring through oral means, any temperature above 37.5 degrees Celsius is considered a fever. If through the ear, any temperature above 38 should be alarming. Correctly wearing our masks is also our responsibility. Face masks have been designed especially for the prevention of germs to transmit through. The most common mask is those worn in surgeries. If worn correctly, they will most definitely reduce the transmission of germs from one side to another. This is possible due to the construction of the mask and its 3 layers. The outer layer is waterproof and provides a primary means of protection from fluids. The middle provides secondary protection from smaller particles, and the inner layer absorbs the wearer's own fluids. Properly wearing the mask is very important. First, we secure the elastic strings around the ears. These strings ensure that the mask sits close to your face, avoiding large spaces in between. If they're too long, tie a knot in them. Next, stretch the mask over your nose and chin, ensuring that your nose and mouth area are fully covered. Lastly, pinch the wired part of your mask securely over the nose bridge to reduce gaps. Don't touch the mask while wearing it, as the germs on the surface can transfer to your hands. In situations where this is unavoidable, remember to sanitize your hands before and after doing so, to prevent the spread. When removing the mask, avoid touching the outer layer for the same reason. Used masks should be discarded in a garbage bin with a lid, and you should wash your hands as soon as possible. Remember, disposable masks should not be reused. If there's obvious signs of dirt or contamination, you should change it immediately. Another community responsibility of ours would be to maintain the cleanliness and safety of our environments, especially our homes. When doing household cleaning, use a diluted solution of 1 to 99 bleach. This can be used to wipe down furniture and other parts of the house. You can also use a solution with 70 to 80% alcoholic content. 1 to 49 diluted bleach, or 10 milliliters of bleach to half a liter of water, should be used when disinfecting surfaces contaminated by vomit, excretions, etc., after removing pieces with a disposable cloth. When doing household cleaning, bleach is preferred. When cleaning, remember to have good ventilation and wear appropriate clothing, such as a mask and gloves. Bleach can be dangerous on its own, so remember the safest dilutions for bleach are 1 to 99 or 10 milliliters to 1 liter of water for general household cleaning, 1 to 49 for cleaning surfaces contaminated with mucus, sweat, or vomit, or 1 to 4 for surfaces contaminated with blood. When using bleach, be very careful of touching the face and especially the eyes. Also, do not mix bleach with other cleaning supplies, as this may affect its disinfecting abilities. Not to mention, mixing bleach with products containing ammonia or acids can also release dangerous chemicals that can seriously harm the lungs. Please also be aware that under direct sunlight, bleach mixtures can release dangerous chemicals as well. We should also avoid using expired bleach or over-storing bleach. Diluted bleach solutions should be used within 24 hours, as the longer the mixture is diluted, the more decomposed it will be. Remember to wipe away obvious signs of matter first. Also avoid using bleach on metals, wool, nylon, silk, dyed fabrics, and painted surfaces if you want them to stay nice. Next up, alcohol-based hand sanitizers. The best way to kill 99.9% of germs is to use sanitizers with an alcoholic content of 60% or more. However, if you use something with 95% alcohol or more, the germs react by producing a layer of proteins that actually protects them. That's why we advise you to use sanitizer with a 75% alcohol content. You can use these sanitizers for wiping tables as well as your hands. It's also recommended to use the spraying type before you enter indoor areas. Since using sanitizers causes the skin dryness and irritation, it's still advised to wash your hands as quickly as possible, or instead. Remember to shut the lids on the containers as well. There's still a number of things we can do to prevent the spread of this virus, like reducing public gatherings and crowds by maintaining a safe distance from each other. The health department also advises that you shouldn't go to countries where there has been a widespread outbreak. We should also keep ourselves informed as to the virus's progress through research and expert advice. When abroad, avoid interacting or eating wild animals, going to crowded areas like wet markets, farms, and zoos. We should also try to maintain a healthy lifestyle through exercise, as this strengthens the immune system. As employees, we also have responsibilities. By keeping up to date with news on new cases, we can avoid districts that have been considered hotspots for the virus. When returning from abroad, follow government guidelines and pay close attention to your health for 14 days upon return. Remember to maintain public hygiene at the office, and colleagues should avoid unnecessary contact with each other. Our hope is to positively manage the virus and do what we can to make Hong Kong safe. If in need of more details, the government's coronavirus website on the screen is probably the best place to go. So that's the end of the clip, which we hope taught you something about how to stay safe during this pandemic. The next step and mission statement is sharing the importance of personal hygiene with our community. On top of learning these tips for yourself, you should also share it with the people around you. Try to remind them of the main things you shouldn't leave home without: a mask, sanitizer, and knowing what your temperature is. Of course, this shouldn't be news to you, and you would have heard the words mask, sanitizer, and temperature many times during this video alone. But we hope that it becomes almost normal practice. We understand that it might be tiring, hearing it so much over the past few months. But it's imperative that we do what we can to defeat this virus. We hope that we can support and protect each other by using masks, sanitizers, and thermometers. Not only by being aware of personal hygiene, we also hope that others can learn and spread this information with friends, family, co-workers, and the rest of the community. By reducing the amount of physical contact we have with each other, we greatly reduce the risk of transmission and infection. We can do this by reducing unnecessary public gatherings and seeing a doctor the second we feel sick. We can also bring the toilet seat down when we flush and wash our hands as frequently as possible. That's not all. When on public transport and in public areas, we must wear a mask, which we've seen many people do, and that's great. We hope this keeps up. For the sake of Hong Kong's health, we shouldn't let anyone in public, crowded areas without a mask. This especially goes for elevators. When at work, you should still have your mask on, even if you're at your desk, but especially if you're walking around the office, and when chatting with your colleagues. You should also regularly change your mask, especially because it's summer now, as the sweat will be both irritating and make the mask not work properly. In these situations, we hope that you change your mask often, but stay mindful of your own personal hygiene when doing so. When it comes to changing masks regularly, some questions arise, such as, how do I store them or dispose of them properly and safely? I'm sure that before this pandemic, we may not have been too familiar with the answers to these questions. But now that we rely on them so much, it's important to know how. It seems like not too long ago, there was a shortage of masks. But now, because they're so easily accessed, we need to ask ourselves these questions. Like whether or not we're storing them in places that are too humid, or are they in direct sunlight? Another aspect would be how we store them throughout the day. Are they stored in a place where we can take them out with ease? Because, if you remember, the outside of the mask is where the most germs are, and we want to reduce the amount of contact we have with it as much as possible. There are mask storage containers that you can buy, or you can use a tissue to wrap around the outside. we also need to be disposing of them properly. Hopefully in a garbage bin with a lid. Some of the ambassadors have been disposing of their masks in creative ways, like putting them in old envelopes or in used plastic bags before throwing them away. You know that this helps protect the staff who throw away trash for you, and reduces the risk of infecting them. And thus concludes some habits that we hope everyone can not only implement but also share with the community to promote higher personal hygiene standards. Remember, these standards will help reduce and eventually eliminate the spread of the coronavirus, meaning that we'll be one step closer to a virus-free Hong Kong. And now, the fourth mission statement, to maintain an active lifestyle. With this statement, we aim to encourage exercise to maintain a healthy lifestyle. The reason being that based on past experience and research, we know that maintaining an active lifestyle through exercise is beneficial for our health and for strengthening our immune systems. By checking out other media platforms, you can find out ways to keep active even from the comfort of your own home. Based on local reports and foreign research, there are 3 points to think about when considering exercise. Firstly, those who do less exercise right now can improve their health drastically by regularly doing exercises that are appropriate to their levels. Secondly, it's not necessary to do hardcore exercise to improve your health. Finally, increasing the length and repetition of your exercises can have greater health benefits. Remember, doing exercise not only keeps your body healthy, it also helps in reducing depression and anxiety, as well as reducing the risk of heart disease. During this pandemic, it's understandable that you may have been under more stress, either due to fear of the virus itself or the conditions we've been asked to live in. On top of changes to our workplace, lifestyle, as well as our daily routines, we understand that everyone is probably under a lot of stress and pressure. And when stressed, depression and anxiety are really easy to develop. That's why we encourage adopting or maintaining a healthy lifestyle that includes some form of regular exercise. We hope that our health ambassadors can endorse this message to encourage our community to remain strong in this fight. If you have no ideas as to what types of exercises you should do, on the slide should show you a few examples that we recommend. And we know that Hong Kong is quite small, but we do hope that you can find a quiet, comfortable place to do these exercises. Remember to do exercises that are appropriate to your level, the space that you have, and that you enjoy. On that note, you may be wondering how to start. Well, for someone who rarely does exercise, it may be beneficial to give yourself a goal. This goal should be something achievable, something within your abilities, and you should definitely start slow. This will reduce the chances of injuring yourself, as well as allow your body to get used to doing exercises regularly. On another note, people with underlying diseases like heart disease, diabetes, etc., they should definitely ask their doctors first for advice on the types of exercise they should be doing. When doctors take into mind your condition, they could give you a better suited exercise plan. A final point to consider. Men over 40 years old and women over 50 should consult with their doctors first to make sure they don't have any underlying diseases before starting an exercise regimen. And now on to our final mission statement, to share our care and concern with our community. During these stressful times, we will not only see this pandemic affect our stress and anxiety, but we will also see it affect our society, more specifically through the many ways that we share with one another. Throughout these months, we've noticed our family members, friends, relatives, colleagues, and even neighbors share materials such as masks and sanitizers, antivirus sentiment, precious time, and love, no matter the cost. We hope that this sharing of our care and concern can extend to others within the community, including our senior citizens, children, and other people in need. We truly hope that everyone can continue to care, share, and support each other through these difficult times. And with that, our presentation is coming to an end. We want to take this time to show you other presentations we've prepared regarding the virus, which are all available to you to have a look at and learn from. And by being a health ambassador, we hope